Hi, friends. It's Joni with Three Feathers Spiritual Wisdom here with your astrology heads up or features for the week of May 9th, 2022. We have a number of things happening in the astrology this week, including near the end of the week, or actually at the end and into the next week. We have a full moon lunar eclipse that we're talking about. So, very interesting energies. I will be pulling a Moonology card at the end to see what Spirit has to say about the energy around the full moon lunar eclipse. So, let's dive in to a couple of things that are happening on Tuesday, May 10. The first is that Mercury goes retrograde at 4 degrees of Gemini. Now, Mercury rules the sign of Gemini, feels very comfortable there. It's all about communication, quick wit, the mind, communicating through speaking or writing. Um, but it is going to go retrograde, and a retrograde is always needing to go internally and review and redo and re-edit and research and relook at things. So it's a period where we're kind of going backwards and things get snafu'd. So communication, technology, and travel may be an issue while Mercury is retrograde. It will be retrograde until it turns direct on June 3rd. And still, you might want to wait a little bit longer than June 3rd to start up your start a new project or sign contracts or buy major things, technology devices or anything, until the third week of June when it is out of its shadow. It's hit the 4 degree of Gemini mark again and is moving beyond it. In this retrograde, because it retrogrades so at a very small degree in Gemini, it means it's going to retrograde back into the sign of Taurus. So not only will communication, technology, and maybe travel be an issue, another issue might be our money. Taurus rules money, what we value, our resources, personal possessions. So there might be some glitches around money. So it's good to review. Maybe it's about reviewing your budget and kind of go back over everything. A lot of astrologers advise do not make a big purchase in terms of a gadget with that's especially technology gadget or a gadget that has a lot of moving parts. The other advice that they give, and that I'll pass along to you, is don't start something new and don't sign a contract. Now that's not always easy to do, especially if you live and work, and that's hard to do. Just look at all the details. So that should help. The other thing that's happening on May 10th, Jupiter, which has been in the sign of Pisces since the end of December of 2021, is now going to move into a new sign. It's going to move into Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. Jupiter works on the expansion principle and wants to expand what it comes in contact with. So when it was in Pisces, it was expanding our spiritual connection, it was expanding our creativity, it was expanding um, love and compassion and unconditional love. Um, in Aries, it could expand that fire element, which is passion, initiative. The Aries wants to push things forward, move things forward, leadership, confidence, independence. Jupiter can also expand negative things. So it could, depending on the situation, expand some of the negative aspects of Aries, which would be impatience, anger, aggression, maybe speaking before you think or acting too quickly on something, and not thinking before you act. So Jupiter moves into Aries. At some point in October, it will also go retrograde and eventually go back into Pisces for another few months because Jupiter always spends almost a year, if not a year, in each sign. Okay? So that's what's happening on Tuesday. Let's look at what's happening on Sunday, May 15th. There's a couple of things happening which are a build up to the full moon lunar eclipse on the 16th. So on Sunday, May 15th, Venus, the planet also of values, love, relationship, our money, our possessions, our luxuries, is in a conjunction with Chiron, the asteroid that is the wounded healer. Where Chiron in is in Taurus. No, excuse me, is in Aries. It's in Aries. Venus is also in Aries. So Jupiter, it will be joining Venus in Aries as well. Venus and in Aries is very much the independent divine feminine. Okay, and is connecting with Chiron. Chiron, the wounded healer, is about what wounds we have carried into this lifetime or wounds that we had from our childhood. And so its past wounds will be brought up at this time to acknowledge, to heal, to release. Now, because it's the divine feminine, it's in Aries, wanting to move us forward, wanting to be independent, and there's wounds there. I really feel like this is connected to some of the current events happening around women's issues. And that's all I'm going to say. I bet you know what I'm talking about, especially if you're in the United States of America. And so I think that's another indication of what some some energy that is creating this time and what we do to heal it and release it. On the same day, on that same Sunday, the sun in Taurus is going to be in a square, which, if you've watched me for a while, you know that's conflict. A square is a conflict with Saturn. Saturn is about the past. Saturn is tradition. Saturn is karmic lessons. Saturn slows things down, is the resistance, wants you to take your time and learn everything about what you're doing. So Saturn is in Aquarius, the sun is in Taurus, and they're in a square. So this might be a challenge again to money because Taurus is about money or our jobs or our home. This might be kind of what are we doing around those things in terms of what we need to learn, and um, the best thing I think is to try to take responsibility because there is another aspect that's going to balance this aspect. The sun, while in a challenge to Saturn, is also in a very positive aspect to Neptune. It's in a sextile with Neptune. And so Neptune rules this our spiritual connection, our creativity, our imagination, our intuition. And so there might be something coming through that helps us with this challenge. Maybe it helps us solve something. It's a spiritual solution. And so those two aspects I think are connected because they both involve the sun. And I really feel like they are balancing each other out or canceling each other out, maybe is the better word. This all leads up to what's going to happen very, very early, like just after midnight on the 15th and into the 16th, a full moon lunar eclipse at 25 degrees of Scorpio. Now, Scorpio is in my mind a very deep uh, zodiac sign. It represents death and rebirth, transformation. There's a lot of sexual energy in Scorpio, a lot of subconscious in Scorpio. So there is a full moon brings things to completion. A full moon shines its light on some things in our subconscious that are coming up, that are wounds. We're back to wounds again. Wounds or challenges or things we see that we need to change in ourselves or we need to adjust and we need to release. So there's about this stuff about releasing, completion, healing, of and at the same time, there are a bunch of other aspects happening. There's a connection to Mars and Pisces. Mars and Pisces is like the spiritual warrior. Some the things that we need to do to transform ourselves to a higher level. There's a challenge. The full moon is also in a challenge with Saturn as well. But there are some other positive aspects that might cancel that out or balance it out. Positive aspects to Uranus, which is also about change, and Pluto, which is the planet of death and rebirth. So I really feel like there's going to be a lot of emotion at this full moon, but there's also going to be a lot of opportunity to see what needs to be healed in ourselves, what needs to be transformed, what needs to be healed in our society, and what needs to be transformed. There's a big potential for transformation because eclipses bring that energy in. And that energy is going to stay with us for 6 months. So you got time. It's not like you got to do it all in one night. You've got time to see the things that need healing and need to be transformed in ourselves and the world around us. And we've got time to um to work on it. So let's see, Spirit, from the Moonology deck, what message do you have for us regarding the full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio? I'm being told to say something about the three levels of Scorpio. On the lowest level, the Scorpio is the scorpion with the stinger. The second level up is the eagle, and then the just one card, Spirit, one card. Then the highest level of transformation for a Scorpio is the phoenix. The phoenix rising out of the ashes. So things have been tough for the last few years, but there's been a purpose to it. And maybe this is one of the pivotal moments where we're um supposed to do some changing. Okay. Well, what came out was new moon in Leo. Confidence is your key to success. So I think going into this transformation, welcoming it, not resisting, but welcoming it, and being confident that this is a pivotal moment in our lives here. What else do you want to say, Spirit? One more card. Any other? Okay, there we go. Ah, okay. This is why I kept shuffling. Emotions are running high. There's a supermoon. I don't know if this is going to be a particular supermoon. I looked online and it looks like it's going to be a red moon. Um, I don't know if that a supermoon is where the moon is very close to the earth. It seems like it's right there and you could reach out to it. But I do believe that emotions will run high with all of this energy that is happening right there on the 15th and 16th. I don't see how we wouldn't have some emotions running high. So just be prepared. It's okay. It'll all work out, and it'll be interesting to flow through it and observe it and see what happens. I wish you many blessings. If you would like a personal reading with me, there's information in the description box below. Take care, everyone.